Hello everyone, welcome back to Touch the Fire Twice. I'm Joshua, and I'm here today to do a haul and first impressions non-review review of some recent releases from HomeWorx by Slatkin & Co. candles. And so I have 11 candles here. This is a collective haul from a couple of different orders, both from QVC and the HomeWorx.shop website, kind of throughout the month of March, when they have had many different promotions and many different drops. The reason I'm getting this out as a haul with quick first impressions is, as we know, many fragrances at HomeWorx, especially when they're on the HomeWorx.shop these days, at least the past probably 6 months or so, tend to release, drop, and then some sell out pretty quickly because it's usually a pretty nice sale promotion that goes on, either a 2 for $44 or a 3 for $63, some rewards points, some, 10% influencer coupons. It all helps to make them a really nice price point for the quality and size of candles that we are getting and have come to know and love with HomeWorx by Slatkin & Co. And so I nabbed a bunch of them, and I'm going to go through. I will likely do my typical in-depth sniff comparison reviews, which if you're not familiar, I kind of go in-depth with a candle, talk through the notes, we learn together and educate ourselves on what the notes mean if they're not familiar to us. I give you my impression of the candle. It's going to be a post-burn review, so I talk about the strength, performance, the throw, the sillage, everything of the candle, and I do a comparison to either literal, for my Island Citrus Guava, it was comparing it to guava nectar juice that I could taste. But I'll also compare it to many other scents you may be aware of from the past, from Bath & Body Works, other companies, so that you can get a sense of what you're potentially purchasing if you can't go in a store and smell it, since many of these are purchased, almost all of them, as sort of blind sniffs. Don't know what you're gonna get until you open your box and you smell it. So I'll give you my quick impression on these, but then I will do in-depth sniff comparison reviews on a handful, probably not all of them. If there's any that you're really, jonesing to hear the in-depth sniff comparison review style on, definitely let me know down below in the comments, and I will do my best to get those out in the next couple of weeks throughout the month of April. So digging in, so again, I've got these are categorized in my mind at least. You got true bakeries, you've got some fruity confections, you've got frozen treats, you have fruits, and then you have some conceptual blends and a floral. So let's just start right at the jump here with the one lone true floral, though many fruits with Slatkin, with Harry, will have a little bit of floral, but this is a true floral. This is Clover Blossom. Notes on this: Clover Blossom, spring gold peach, peony petals, and white violet. With the name Clover Blossom, I did expect it to be a little bit, quite honestly, greener, a little bit of, like you had some spring 2018 candles that were floral, but kind of like your wild growing florals with a lot of green thrown in there and some kind of astringency things. This is not that. This is a super sweet, almost a fruity floral. The peach likely is going to do that, though I think, in my opinion, peony sometimes can be a little bit sweet, almost towards a fruity. Violet as well. So this one to me smells like I haven't burned it yet because it's just not on my priority list to burn, and if I had sniffed it in store, I probably would have purchased it. Not that it's not a nice blend, it's just not the blends that I prefer typically. I would say this almost leans toward a Signature Collection body care fragrance, like you see Bath & Body Works do sort of a fruity floral that's a body care item. It's not full on powdery, perfume or something, but it's got that sort of flirty, playful, sweet mass appeal, but nothing that's too wildly unique or special about it, which is kind of what I feel about Clover Blossom. Then we go to these two I'm really into and I was not expecting to be into. First up, Lotus Pear. This one has Lotus Blossom, fresh Bartlett pear, lemon zest, and wild mint leaf. Obsessed with this candle. Like, stock up on this candle. I didn't think so based on the name, Lotus Pear. Like, what lotus is typically kind of like very aquatic, kind of like lily-ish, and pear, what pear is. This reminds me, I've yet to put my finger on it, but this reminds me of an old Slatkin & Co. scent. A little bit of like the drenched apple flower, apple orchard or orchard apple at HomeWorx, as well as the orchard nectar at HomeWorx in the little 3-wick white jars. Because this to me is an autumnal fruit, although it's not super autumnal because it doesn't have spices. It is a fresh pear with some wood and some blossom in there. Not listed in here, but Lotus Blossom, excuse me. Some blossom in here. And just a nice layer of what is not listed is there's some sort of wood in here, whether it's a bit of like, I don't know, a birch or a light oak. Love it. Probably will go more in depth on this one, but unexpected, really, really good. And then similarly, along those same lines as far as the type of candle, apricot and beach sage. Huge fan of apricot. If you watched my apricot cobbler review, you'll know I really enjoy apricot scents. That one was a miss for me, just based on the strength. It was a nice blend, but just the strength wasn't there for me. I was excited to see another apricot forward blend or candle with HomeWorx. Notes in this one, apricot nectar, beach sage, coconut palm, and orange flower. So we've got some herbal, some fruity. Coconut palm could be more like some green, like the palm leaves, and the orange flower, some floral nectar. Really nice as well. This could lean almost toward, the way that Clover Blossom could lean towards kind of like a body care. I could see this doing that as well, but it's a little bit more mature, a little bit more complex, a little bit more conceptual. They're really, this sage specifically, I don't know that it's sage that I get because it's a bit more, it's not the sage you're knowing from your kitchen herbs or any of your sort of autumnal vanilla sages that you can get. I would say there's a good throw of the orange flower in there, certainly some apricot nectar. The sage, I'd say some sort of green, more so the coconut palm, though not coconut. Don't think, with the name beach, don't think particularly beachy. Not tropical, because the apricot pulls it down to like a more traditional than tropical. But really nice. I lean a little powdery, I think due to the orange flower, but if you like orange flower, orange blossom, I think you would like this scent. Really nicely built. Then we go into our fruits. This is basically a fruit. It's conceptual fruit. This one was from QVC. I did the duo order. Just Shantae convinced me when she got her package from HomeWorx when she burned them and said they were just throwing and strong and rich with the rum and the banana. I was like, all right, I gotta give it a shot. Gave it a shot. Notes in this one, sweet banana, coconut froth, dark rum, and sugared musk. I will say, at first on this can, I'm gonna have to do an in-depth review on this one. So I'm not gonna give too much away. At first I sniffed it, I didn't like it, thought it was artificial. I still don't think I still don't think it smells like a true mashed ripe banana, but more of like a banana liqueur. And so for me, banana daiquiri, even though the notes in here, you've got your rum, you've got your coconut, you've got some banana, though the notes are there to make you think this is a drink, sort of edible fragrance, to me it is more still conceptual. And I'll get into that in my review, but when you're mixing in, I definitely get sort of a bit of a musk undertone to this, and I kind of forgot that it was on the notes and looked there and there it was. So I do think this is almost like a concept of a banana daiquiri, but not a literal, the way that sometimes you get a margarita candle and it smells like you are making a margarita. This, to me at least, doesn't have that sort of direct, doesn't mean it's inauthentic, it just doesn't have that direct port to, oh, this is supposed to be the edible version. Maybe it was supposed to be, to me it's not. But it's nice, and the performance is good. With an asterisk, it's different. It's not super, for me at least, in the two burns, not super strong, but it throws very far. The like sillage, the throw is throughout the house. So that's solid. So I will get into that a little bit more in depth, try to do some comparison review on that one sometime soon. Then we have this return of 2018 classic. I'm so happy to see them pulling out direct from the HomeWorx vault, not just the Slatkin vault, the HomeWorx vault. This is Sweet Spring Melon, really beautiful traditional HomeWorx label there. We've got the wax color shining through. And the notes here, ripe honeydew melon, watermelon, cucumber, and water lily. Now to me, they show sort of a cantaloupe on here, and this is a cantaloupe scent through and through. There could be some honeydew. I don't really get watermelon. It's not the watermelon you think of in fragrance, which is a little bit more the Jolly Rancher watermelon. Cucumber, maybe. And water lily, just the faintest amount. For the most part for me, this is a cantaloupe scent. You think of cucumber melon from Bath & Body Works. That some people love, few people hate. But it is very much a melon, like a sort of a honeydew with not a super bitter or astringent cucumber thrown in there, but something that makes it green and not just the sweetness. This is heavy on the sweetness, but in a good way, because it's a ripe, juicy cantaloupe with just a little bit of other things playing in the background there with it. But it's like 70% cantaloupe, but it's so authentic. It doesn't smell like candy. It doesn't smell like just a cheap liqueur, that's bright green or bright orange to throw in your cocktail and make it melon. It smells truly like a cantaloupe. Beautiful, but not, I think some people don't like cantaloupe. They think it's a little musty. It's a little bit too soft, gooey, fermented almost. It's not, it's fresh. It's got a really good bite to it. and just a sweetness that carries through. Love Sweet Spring Melon, highly recommend that one. Then we go on to our frozen fruits. We've got orange creamsicle. Notes on this one, sweet orange, vanilla cream, mandarin, and fruit nectar. I don't love when they just say fruit anything, like, okay, what, there are a million fruits, what fruit are we supposed to smell here? So creamsicle, dreamsicle, whatever you want to call it, it's essentially an orange popsicle with that filling of sort of a vanilla cream of sorts. This is a half hit, half miss for me. So orange creamsicle, you would expect to be pretty much equal parts orange and cream, the vanilla. They call out orange, mandarin, vanilla cream, and fruit nectar. So notes are pretty classically what you'd expect, but I don't get much cream in here. Now, granted, this is not a post-burn review. This is, I'm sniffing it right here as is. The credit I will give is that the orange is not just an orange. It's not an orange zest. It's not a sugared orange. It's not like they just took a typical orange. Bath & Body Works is known for just kind of like sometimes taking a note and calling it some different variation of the core note, like calling something orange juice, even though it's a sparkling orange, or it's a sugar crystals, with orange. Throwing it in just to meet a naming mechanism or a goal for the marketing. This doesn't do that. This is not orange juice. This is not orange zest. This is not sparkling orange. This really smells like that sort of concentrated orange juice that is frozen. So whether it's, your orange juice concentrate or it is your popsicle, same way that they can do effervescence and scent, I do honestly get that the sharpness of the, kind of tart acidity, brightness, but what you get when you bite into a really, like the all fruit or just fruit popsicles that are not artificially flavored, not necessarily artificially colored, but it's truly the fruit, and it's sticky and it's dense and it's sweet. That's what I get from this, but I really don't get much cream at all. So if they could add the cream in there, which HomeWorx has many variations of cream, vanilla cream, whatever they want to do, would be great. On initial sniff for me, this is missing the cream, but if you like orange and want orange popsicle, that is not just that. There's some other things going on here, but it's just the cream is maybe like 20-25% versus you expect it to be a bit more truly creamy, like a, cream mixed with orange, which this really isn't for me. Then we go to probably my least favorite out of this entire haul here so far, vanilla coconut sorbet. Now, coconut's a pretty strong scent in home fragrance. Figured it'd be pretty easy to do in a sorbet form because you're just talking, frozen coconut milk, whatever you want to throw it in there. They have chilled vanilla, shaved coconut, tropical water fruits, and island sugarcane. Again, I don't love that they have tropical water fruits. That could mean anything. I don't want them to go generic on here because are they doing that so that people are like, oh, it's tropical fruits? But are they not saying what it specifically is because they don't want to turn off a potential buyer? If that's the case, I don't like that. I want specificity because I'm going for authenticity and accuracy in my home fragrance. And island sugarcane. So, kind of know what you'd expect, coconut sorbet. Usually it's coconut sorbet, not coconut vanilla, but I'm down for some creamy vanilla. I don't like it. There's something about this that smells off to me. I don't know if it's the tropical water fruits playing with vanilla and coconut and sugarcane. If I smell this without the notes and then the name, I might say coconut. And coconut's such a easy pass, or not easy pass, like don't buy it, but like an easy get, an easy win to get something accurately coconut. This doesn't smell like coconut almost at all to me. It smells like, honestly, it smells like something funny from like my great grandma's apartment when I was a kid, and I don't know what it was or what it is. So maybe it's my scent memory that's throwing this one off. But it almost smells a little bit like a cleaner as well, which coconut and vanilla don't typically go that direction, unless there's some weird thing going on with the sugarcane, because it's not like sweet crunchy. Like sugarcane can be a little, if you ever like had sugarcane as like a drink stirrer and a drink at a cocktail bar and you gnaw on it, it's a little funky. It's not like sweet, like, processed sugar. Maybe that's doing it. It's just, it smells vegetal or like earthy. And that's not what I want my sorbet to be like. Now I'm down for some like, olive oil gelato with balsamic reduction, something like that, but this ain't it. Then we go to our two fruity confections, our strawberries. Strawberry glazed cupcake here, really pretty artwork on that too. Just, it's elevated, it's something different with your little well, probably Photoshop strawberries on top there, but it's cute nonetheless. Notes of this one: sweet strawberries, vanilla cupcake, coconut cream, and whipped buttercream. Coconut cream, not sure why that's necessary, but okay, that's fine. Okay, now this doesn't hit me, and it hits me very tangy. When I first sniffed it, I disliked it. When I'm getting like in mind of what kind of strawberry they could be going for in this, because I think strawberry is hard to do well in wax, I could see potentially like a little bit more. This one, kind of, my decision is, you know, on hold until I burn it. But I'm not getting like a nice vanilla cake. It's almost like a lemon cake or something that's a little sharp, but not sweet. And I almost feel like the strawberry is either like a very, potentially an artificial strawberry, but not how we smelled in wax before, and not like the wild strawberry and different strawberries that HomeWorx has released in the past, or even BBW has released in the past. And so I was thinking, like, is it maybe just almost like strawberry, like let's say you're like some restaurant or some dairy bar is making a strawberry sundae, and they're just using sort of like the corn syrup red with some chunks of strawberries, but like not just macerated strawberries and sugar water, but the chunky syrupy thickener, corn syrup, guar gum, whatever, artificial red 40, goopy sort of strawberry topping is almost what I thought with this, because it's tangy. At the same time, I appreciate it that it's not overly cloying. So again, it could be good once it's burning. The coconut I don't necessarily get, but that could be throwing me off a little bit, but it's not a rich, warm, you know, people love the toasted vanilla cupcake at HomeWorx. I've actually never purchased it. I should, since everyone loves it. They say it's so wonderful. This is not what I typically would think of as a cupcake. So curious if this one had other options for names when they were, once the fragrance was built, you know, what comes first, the name or the notes, or the notes or the name or the blend? Hard to say. I think sometimes it's probably different. I'd be curious if there were other options what this could have been called, because there's something just a little bit weird in there for me that surprised me, because I feel like this should be similar to the sorbet. This should be pretty easy to do straightforward, even if strawberry is a little tricky sometimes. Okay, our final strawberry one, this strawberry milkshake. Strawberry is just jumping, splashing into that strawberry milk. Pink strawberries, whipped raspberry sorbet, interesting, marshmallow fluff, and whipped cream. Milkshake, okay, sure. This is pretty nice. I do like this one. It's a very different strawberry. It's still fresh strawberry, but this one, again, this almost feels like an artificial gooey strawberry that's in like a cheap hand pie from, I don't know, like the grocery store. This is your authentic, in my opinion at least, pretty close to authentic, not yet burned. Authentic strawberries as real as you can get in wax, at least. Not super far off from the strawberry that's in the berry trifle, but it is raspberries, not so much. Like, but this is in the family of berry trifle. Not as good as that, but it's in the family, and I do like it. If you like that one, you'll probably like this, in my opinion. Milky, creamy, raspberry sorbet. Maybe just a little bit of some brightness in there. Again, it's not straight up pure strawberry. It's mostly strawberry with a little bit of supporting fruit in there, which is exactly what you want. And then whipped cream. Perhaps, I mean, it's creamy, so whether it's whipped cream or milk, who knows, whatever. But all told, I really like that one as well. All right, and now we move on to one that certainly was the top seller because it sold out, and hopefully will be back, not sure. Could appear on QVC, I don't know. Typically when they sell out on HomeWorx.shop, they haven't been coming back within the season, though anything is possible. But sometimes, like the Sunday Morning Cereal, the Fruit Loops one, did show up at QVC, and I think might be there for a while. So I don't know if they either aren't selling as quick because the prices aren't typically as good on QVC, or maybe they just do a bigger bulk purchase when they're actually, you know, putting the order in with the factory to actually pour the candles. So all that to say, blueberry cheesecake and then salted caramel cake. Expected to love one, expected to hate one, and we'll see what happens. Blueberry cheesecake. I mean, the idea of it is amazing. The label is just, can you think of a more decadent, certainly obvious, but decadent and pretty, and just like, again, I'll steal from the Candle Channel from Ken, a juicy label. That is a juicy label. Really, really pretty, and just the wraparound is so fun versus just the piece of it. It's the full-on chunk here. Blueberry cheesecake. Notes being wild bean blueberry, cheesecake accord, blackberry jam, and brown sugar crust. Surprised it doesn't say graham cracker crust, but okay. And I'll call out here, the wax is this perfect purple. It's like, oh, and it's It smells strong. It's this perfect purple because blueberries, you know, it's a blueberry, but really you cut them, you mash them, whatever. And it's more of like a deep purple than a blue. It's really good. Most obvious comparison, I will do an in-depth sniff review on this one because there's a lot to say about it. I will say it started off a little bit lighter than I hoped, but I think it really falls into the berry trifle category of it's got a decent throw. You don't necessarily want a cloying, heavy cheesecake to choke you out. To me, that's almost a sign of, in some ways, a cheaper candle because it's just so obvious. This is a bit more subtle, but it's still super great. Very authentic. It is, I will say though, it's blueberry cheesecake. Don't expect this to be like all blueberries with a little bit of cheesecake. This is mostly cheesecake with some blueberries for me, but the cheesecake is authentic. It's that tanginess that you want in cheesecake. You've got the graham, which shows up well here, which graham cracker doesn't always show up when it's listed in a note in candles. The blueberry, there's something about the blend overall that, like a few of these others, reminds me of some OG Slatkin and Co's, but I can't put my finger on it right now, so I'll have to sniff around in my vault to compare when I do my comparison review. Very nice. If you can get your hands on it and you like cheesecake, but with a fruity edge, so it's not overly heavy gloppy, like a nice light whipped cheesecake with graham, definitely recommend that one. And then finally, expect it to hate it, love it. This is top 5 probably out of these 11 for me. Salted caramel cake. I've had some caramel candles from HomeWorx over the years. I guess I didn't have this one. I typically am not a huge fan of caramel because it just ends up being too heavy, cloying, or burnt, or just doesn't work for me, though I like caramel in real life to actually eat, but in wax it doesn't come off well for me, usually. Salted caramel, black walnut, caramel swirl. All right, salted caramel swirl, give us a little bit more. And vanilla bean, that makes sense. And a really pretty layered cake with like a whipped cream in the middle of it. Like they don't call out the whipped cream, they should. It's so good. It is sweet, but it's not, it doesn't overwhelm you. And I use the word cloying a lot with sweetness, but it's not cloying. To me, this reminds me a lot, and I'll give this heads up here, because if you made it this far in the video, I will give you a preview of what I would do if I were to do an in-depth sniff review on this one, which is, this reminds me a lot of Pumpkin Caramel Latte, 2011, Slatkin & Co. Bath & Body Works, which didn't really have any latte in it. It was really just a creamy, and it wasn't really pumpkin either. It was a little bit of spice with milky caramel, which then came back this year as Caramel Brulee Latte, I want to say, at Bath & Body Works after being away for many, many years. Very similar to that with, there's one other, I think, OG Slatkin & Co. scent that is a combination of that pumpkin caramel latte, something else to get to this. Because there is a sweet sort of, I would call it, there's definitely, to me, bakery spices in here. So a mixture of your sweet, soft cinnamon or nutmeg, not really cloves, and it doesn't lean holiday, but certainly a sweet spice to it, not your red hot at all. Just a little bit in the background with that sort of burnt, almost burnt caramel. Beautiful. A little bit of the cake, not a ton of cake. They don't call it out here. It's primarily your creamy, salted, milky caramel. It's almost, you know what I would call this? I would call this like a tres leches caramel cake because there's a milkiness to it. That's what they should call this, and that's what I'll say when I do my video. So highly recommend this one, and I'm actually probably gonna get another one, which I never in a million years thought I would get another one. I thought that it would be like something I'd burn rarely. I love this one. That is the initial first impressions on the haul. Let me know if you made it this far. First of all, thank you. Second of all, let me know if there are any that you really want to hear the traditional Touch the Fire Twice in-depth sniff comparison reviews. Like I said, I plan on doing them already for a couple of them, but if there's any that you really want to see, please do let me know. And until next time, take care.